Hey folks, it's SW here with another video. This video is going to talk about the 5 worst contracts in the NBA right now. Um, a few years ago, the NBA salary cap, they went through a spike, and they're projecting it to go like much further, but the salary cap never really went to the height that really people projected it to be. So that's why now we have a lot of really bad contracts because if they were hit the projections, it would, the contract would make sense, but because they didn't, they're really bad contracts. So I'm just going to talk about the 5 worst contracts in the league right now. Fifth worst contract is George Hill. This season, he will be making $20 million. George Hill is a good player. However, he is now more of a guy coming off the bench, averaging about 10 points, and he's getting paid $20 million to be a mentor to De'Aaron Fox and the other players on the team, and it's a lot of money to pay for someone who's not really contributing. The Kings really haven't. They were really good early on, but they've of course the Kings will be Kings, fallen off, and they're not competing for the playoffs, which he had some for some reason actually believed would happen. But yeah, he's getting paid a lot of money, and he's not really bringing much. He hasn't been a great on defense either. That's his calling card, so it has to be the fifth worst. Number four, Alan Crabbe. Alan Crabbe is he's really a guy that's a guy who could shoot really well, but he is being paid way too much. And he is a perfect example of the casualty of the salary cap not reaching that level because he got paid a massive offer sheet from the Brooklyn Nets, and in that current and now the new NBA, that would have been what was believed to be the contract for a mid-level guy, a guy who's could or a guy you think is going to be decent, and Portland Trail Blazers actually matched that offer sheet, and then they look at their contract like, wait a minute, we have so many guys who are getting paid a lot of money and they suck. And really, with the salary cap not going up, they were really strapped for cash. So they trade him. They get rid of him, and Brooklyn Nets. They end of the day, they get the guy they wanted. However, this season he's shooting below 40% from the field. He's not having a great shooting season, even though he's averaging career high in points. He's you're giving a guy $20 million to shoot the ball, and he's coming. He's not really playing that much to begin with. It's really a lot of money to give to that guy. I mean, he's not that good. Let's just say it how it is. He's not that great of a player. But I mean, maybe there's a chance he gets really good at shooting. He maybe scores 15, 20 points a game. But so that's why he's not really the worst contract because he still has a room to grow, but doesn't look good for the Brooklyn Nets. Number three is Nicolas Batum. Now, Nicolas Batum is a pretty good player. However, the man's being paid $22.4 million this year, and he had signed a contract, I believe, for 5 years, 120 million. I mean, he getting paid a lot of money, and once he got that money, he has not really performed to the level of the contract. This guy, I really remember him from Portland when he was basically like the fourth option, maybe the third option on some nights on that team. And like a lot of teams, they take him on the Charlotte Hornets, and they're like, oh, you know what, maybe he could be really good for us. And he was decent. I believe the first year he's pretty good, and they extended him, but he hasn't really played up to the level. He has proven to us that he is a third or fourth option on a good team. He's a guy who can maybe drop 30 points a game. He can get a triple double here and there, but he's not a consistent guy who can really carry his team. So that's why it's really a big contract. They don't really want to keep him because they have a guy in Jeremy Lamb coming off the bench who's performing as well, if not better. And that's a big contract to have. They're trying to get rid of that contract. Number two, Joakim Noah. Joakim Noah was a very good player at one point in his career. He got some MVP votes, but he has really fallen off after some injuries and getting a little old now, and he's just not performing. Um, Phil Jackson, he tried to create a quote unquote super team that people actually believe was going to be good. Everyone knew they were going to be terrible, but some people thought they were going to be good. And Joakim Noah gets a lot of money. Now he has not performed at all. He has been either hurt or just not playing well. And they are definitely trying to get rid of him, but there's no way anyone's going to try and take on that contract because he's just not going to bring anything to the table. I mean, even passing, I don't think he's doing that well either. He's not getting a lot of assists, so he's not really a guy that teams are going to try and take on because they're like, why would I take this contract? He brings absolutely nothing. Number one worst contract in the NBA right now has to be Chandler Parsons. This guy, I don't know how he did it, but he managed to get a massive contract from the Memphis Grizzlies, and he has not lived up at all. He's averaged less than 10 points a game. He's either been injured or averaging less than 10 points. Of course, he has some good games, but I don't get it. I don't get why he's getting paid so much money. He averaged like 13, 14 points a game when he was in Dallas. He wasn't that great in Dallas, but he getting paid massive money? Like, why? I don't know. I mean, he's a guy, it's interesting because he's a 6'10 guy who could, he's a small forward kind of guy who can shoot really well, but he's like some sort of I don't know what it is. Like, he's sort of fallen off. Like, he's not been that great where you give that guy that massive contract, but he got that massive contract and he has not lived up to any standards. And really, the only thing I could say is that the Memphis Grizzlies aren't competing, aren't competitive anymore. So it's not really that huge of a deal. But that contract is just that should be the worst contract in the NBA, and I honestly can't see them getting rid of him anytime soon. Um, However, that's the end of the video. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, comment. Thank you.